Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Today's show is it's going to be what I hope an interesting one because we have more than just my point of view here today, and we're going to be sharing on an idea that's quite dear to my heart. But before we delve in and before I introduce my guests, and yes, we do we do have guests today. Two very interesting guests that I'm going to introduce right after I apologize for not being able to join you yesterday as we were experiencing the adverse effects of what do we call it? South Africa disease. As I was letting my brother know just now that we were suffering yesterday from South Africa disease, and because of that, I couldn't really make it. But since we're here, let's let's dive right into it. But before we do that, before I even introduce what we're going to be talking about, let me quickly introduce our two guests here today who are going to be joining us for this, I hope, amazing show. And also, before we do that, there are going to be extreme amounts of technical difficulties in this one because we're trying out something new for your sake because we really love you so much that we like to push the frontiers and try to challenge ourselves, and most of the times when you're trying to challenge yourself, you're gonna face challenges, okay? So that's what we're gonna be dealing with today. Just in case any technical difficulties do arise, I apologize in advance. But I'm going to switch over to our two guests, and instead of you listening to my annoying voice the whole time, I'm going to let them introduce themselves here in a minute. So, our two guests are Prince and Elaine today. So, I'm going to let them
Hi.
give their own intro. So, Prince, if you can go ahead and just introduce yourself again. I know we had a conversation lately, but not everyone who's watching today might have watched that. So, please go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Prince, and I am an ordained minister, and I interested in all sort of things. But one thing that I'm passionate about is sharing what's most important, and what's most important are things that would benefit people, and I hope that's what I'm here to do. And yes, I'm not suffering from the South African disease, but I'm suffering from a family one. So there are background noises and there are door banging. I hope it all goes smoothly. Yeah,
Perfect. Let's hand
that's
it
me.
over. Thank you, Prince, again for that smooth introduction. We're going to hand it over to Elaine and have her introduce herself.
Hey guys, my name is Elaine and I'm very shy. Joking. Okay, my name is Elaine and I'm actually here to grow and actually get to learn more from these two people. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Great. That sounds great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce our topic for the day. You're going to see me adjust my mic quite a bit today. It is quite a stubborn microphone, this one. So I'm going to adjust it quite a bit. Don't be too annoyed by that, okay? We're going to be talking change and growth today, right? And how much change growth requires, and how interchangeable the two ideas are, growth and change. Because when you're growing, you're changing, and when you're changing, you're growing. Well, it's not always that you're changing that changes growth. That's not always true, but the two ideas are always interlinked. So I'm going to open up the floor to our two guests, and allow them a minute or so and just let them give their best thoughts on these concepts that we just put forward, and then thereafter I will give some prompts and we can maybe explore even further. I'm going to again start it out with Prince, and let's hear from him what his thoughts are on change and growth and the interchangeable relationship between the two.
Okay, so what are my thoughts on change and growth? The thing is, change is something that happens to living and non-living things. Yeah. But growth is special. Yeah. And the reason why it's special, I'm going to say this. You see, weeds uh, are the only plants that grow without effort. They just pop up. Yeah. But then flowers, they grow with attention, effort, and time. You see, change happens, but growth requires effort. But then I think what we're going to do is through this episode, we're really going to look at the benefit of growth and change in a positive way, because there's also a negative way, and one important thing is that what uh, growth, the growth that we are talking about doesn't come by passing of years. And that is why I say what weeds grow up, they just pop up with no effort, with you not watering or caring for them. But flowers, they need attention, effort, and time. And I think I'm going to expand on those as we are discussing. So that's just a little from me.
So with okay, so with change to me, it allows you like to explore new things and also learn from different experiences. And then when it comes to growth, it requires time, it requires it requires just a lot of things. Like with growth is not like, how can I say this? It's not a one-time thing. Like you wake up today and you are like, yeah, I've grown to a mental Elaine. You understand? With growth, it requires time, it requires your energy, it requires, yeah, time, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to try and break it. I'm going to try and break it. I think I recently heard something that Mark Zuckerberg said. Mark Zuckerberg said what? ideas come, but you need to work on them, because when you get an idea, you don't get everything. Now, I'm gonna have to tie it back to what I said about wheat. For me, I think ideas are wheat. Forgive me for my pronunciations because they just pop up. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something which you might be shocked. Uh, honest to God, I had an idea of wireless headphones in 2010. I thought of that. Yeah. Maybe they existed, but at that time I was not aware of anything called wireless earphones or headsets. Yeah. But then someone developed. Yeah. So I thought popped in, but I didn't act on it. Yeah. So to me, I think that's wit. And I think, a lot of time we get a lot of thoughts and stuff like that, and let me put it this way. For example, you might find that some people are thinking, oh, I need to make money. Those are thoughts. I need to make money. I need to make money. But you find a successful person, they think about ideas that bring value. You see, and for me, those are not wits. Yeah. Now I don't know. I kind of forgot your question on how it's leading back, how it goes to social media. Because yeah, but yeah, but the, the whole point, the whole point is what negative thoughts comes. Yeah, and those are wits. Negative thoughts of it's not possible for you to make it. You can't. I think last time I said what, like my sister asked me, Vincian asked me, Prince, how did you get a job without a degree? You know, so if I had that thought that she told me, Prince, you get a job without a degree, you can't get a job without a qualification, then that's a wit, because negative thoughts come to us every day. But having productive thoughts, having meaningful thoughts, having thoughts that generate money, having thoughts that improve relationships, having thoughts that enables you to become a better communicator takes time, takes effort, and takes attention. And those are not wits, you see? And, and that's why I say what, now I remember I came to South Africa in 2019. Now I left South Africa for some time, but when I came to South Africa, guess what? South Africa had changed. Yeah. Because what? Nothing stays the same. Even our planet Earth, I thank God for gravity. Gravity kind of grounds us, but the Earth is spinning. You see, nothing stays the same. We are all moving, but unfortunately, we have people that are stuck. Stuck in their old ways, stuck in their um, in their old ways. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this. I hope it doesn't provoke anyone, but our beloved African countries have not progressed further into the modern age since the day that they had independence. You see? Taking an example of Cameroon and China. Cameroon at one point was more developed, more advanced, more ahead than China. And I think you can Google that. Yeah. But look at what there is. Yeah. China was a dumping ground. Yeah. China was a place where you probably get cheap labors. And the West would send they will send things there for China to assemble. But what Chinese people did is they started learning, you see, and they've advanced. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are not willing to change, then you are stuck in your old ways and you don't benefit the present. Yeah. I know I kind of wandered off. I think I'm going.
With these conversations is being able to just freely share thoughts like that. So beautifully said there with change and how it has stagnated the African continent because Africans refuse to change their mindsets, right? And change how they view, how they do things and how they approach certain things. And you see the correlation between the refusal to change and growth, right? Those two in Africa is the best example of how these two ideas are tied together because we've refused to change in our mindsets, right? We are basically saying we're refusing to grow as a continent because there's certain things that as an African, even growing up, we are told and taught not to worry about, like politics and there's a saying that goes, "Those who refuse to do politics will be done by politics." I love that saying so much, but we refuse to worry about what's happening economically on the global stage. We refuse to worry about um, international geopolitics, right? We refuse to worry about all these things that affect us because we don't see the direct effect. I'm going to bring it grounded back down to us as the day-to-day human beings because that's what I'm more concerned about. I really believe that the day-to-day human being can make such an impact that it changes the whole world. It's like, okay, what other things are people in their own lives refusing to change that is stagnating their growth? Let's look at the example of what time you wake up in the morning, right? Yeah. That's stealing hours away from you that you could be using for productivity. Let's look at what time do you go to bed at night. Like it's little simple things like this. Like how many books do you read a month? For those who can read in a month, because I can't finish a book in a month for the life of me. And those who can, look, I salute you. Okay, you guys are superhuman and all of that. But this is what I want us to now address. This idea of when we refuse to change the simple things that we know that we should change, and everyone knows exactly what they should change right now in order to make a big impact, then we're refusing to grow, right? We're refusing to go towards our dreams, right? This is how I would like for us to take this conversation. Elaine, what things right now in your life do you know that you should be changing? Little things that you are not seeing the full impact of, right? Let me maybe give it to you that way so that you can share with us if you're willing to be that honest and say, hey, look, this is one thing in my life that if I changed this small little thing, then maybe my life would be exponentially better. If you do not understand my question, because I do tend to try to fit too much into one question, please let me know and I'll simplify it, okay, Elaine?
No, I do get your question. So, I think using my phone is a problem. Using my phone is a problem, especially like scrolling through social media, Instagram. It takes my time and stuff like that. I think, yeah, I should work on that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
see, like there's little things like that that we all can do. It's such a small thing, such a small thing. You think of it, it's like okay, just 5 videos. Say you only watch 5 videos, 30 seconds each. Let's make it 6 so that my maths doesn't kill me here. Okay, but you only watch 6 videos, 30 seconds each. That's 3 minutes of your life that you're not gonna get back. You're not gonna get back that, right? So it's these little changes like that, like how you talk to people, right? It opens you up to so many other opportunities. Like so for you, Elaine, change, right? And how it applies to growing, right?
Hear me? Yes, I'm saying what? I didn't get your question.
But I'll address that in a bit. I was talking to you, asking you about change, and asking to see what impact this idea of change and growth, right? How much of that have you been able to take advantage of?
This question,
Mm.
honestly.
Mm. Am I let me know if I'm asking questions that are either too vague or are going in too deep, and then I can
Yeah,
go ahead.
you're going into deep. I mean, you're
Okay.
going into deep.
Gotcha. No problem at all. So what I'm trying to bring to your attention is like, okay, what do you think in your life right now, right? That if you changed would make the biggest impact. You said social media, right?
Mm.
So I wanted to go into the idea of, okay, what if you changed how you think about social media? What if you changed how you think about the things you're looking at on social media? What kind of impact do you think that would have on you?
Actually, I think my network, I think it will be.
Are you struggling to hear me? Okay, we are going to proceed here. Prince, I'm going to give you another question in another form. We're going to jump right into relationships, right? And how much we tend to try to hold relationships where they are, if you understand what I mean. We tend to not allow relationships to grow and to change into whatever they're changing into. Say we are friends and we've been friends, and we used to enjoy spending nights out on the town. And now my friend, say, has a new job that requires so much of his commitment as far as time goes. And we struggle to let the relationship go into a space where we might not spend as much time together, but our relationship is still as strong, you know? People, let's take it into a more, not like a platonic relationship, let's take it into a relationship as in like marriage, right? Because I'm sure you would testify in the fact that even marriage itself has like seasons, right? In which you go into, and it's like, okay, so I want to understand what your thoughts are on allowing relationships to be what they are in this season and not trying to force them back into the good old days when you used to do this, when you used to be like this, when you used to, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Mm.
Okay, first of all, I'm not a relationship expert, but
That's okay.
what I would share, what I wanted to share was, I wanted to share on the importance of the mind. Yeah,
Mm.
I think our mind, our mind determines the quality of our relationship.
Mm.
So, in other words, how you've exposed your mind and what your mind has processed,
Mm-hmm.
uh, gives meaning to the relationship that you have.
Mm.
You know, I'll say this for example, like if your mind has not accepted that your friend or your spouse are in the season of change, for example, maybe they've entered a new career, and your mind is not able to accept that, then the result will be a negative relationship coming out in the form of complaints or thinking that I'm not being appreciated or time is not given to me. Yeah. So everything that we experience is a reflection, is a product of what's in our mind. And coming back to change, this is what I want to say. What if you want to change anyone? The first place to start is the mind. And that is why they say that education is power. Not that what education is power, information is power, because what education, information has the ability to transform you, add value. It results into growth. It results into meaningful relationship. I would say that for anyone who wants to improve their relationship, my advice would be for them to read books, listen to audios on relationships. I think there's a book by, I forgot the name, How to Make Friends or something like that. Yeah. So if you want to have deeper relationships, for example, if you want to communicate with your spouse in a deeper way, then you need to read books that teaches you how to communicate in a deeper way so that you can come to that understanding, know each other, appreciate each other, and for love to grow. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that everything for me is the mind, and coming back to not really preaching again. Obviously, I've introduced myself as a preacher, but there's a statement in the Bible that says what? It says, don't be conformed to this world. Yeah. Meaning that don't be stuck to your previous ways, to your previous ways of thinking. Don't be stuck to your previous conditions. But then it says what? Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So in order to escape, I'm trying to find a word. So if you want to escape from being confined, then the way to do that is transforming. For me, I've been married, and nobody sat to taught me what marriage is. But I think over time, obviously, you can still say the same. But when you have the desire to learn, you seek those resources that teaches you how to improve your relationship. The same thing with marriage. The same thing with being a good friend. So for me is, if you want to grow, if you want to change, seek resources. And I remember when I trying to learn to be, when I was learning how to be a preacher and stuff like that. What I used to do is, there was a time where I used to listen to about 5 hours of messages, because I want to grow, because I want to change, And what I would say is, the exercise of the mind is more important than the exercise of the body. Yeah. I can see that time is moving and time is not on our side. Okay, so what I would say is, use my, okay, so I think let's come back. Let's call this one a trial episode. I think let's get into a
Well,
real
I
one.
didn't speak.
Yeah, because Ellen didn't speak. So this is just a trial episode, and whoever listens to it is just a trial of what we are trying. Yeah.
equipment has done the things. Technical errors, technical errors, technical errors. Look, this world is trial and error, and me, I love to fail. Like, this is the one thing about me that many people find extremely, extremely, extremely weird. I love to fail, and I love to fail big, okay? If you know me, then you know that much about me. Sorry, I'm failing again. Right in front of your eyes. So, this was a beautiful, beautiful learning curve for me here as I attempted to figure out what are the best platforms to have other people come on here and share their views of as well, and have guests on here. So I'm just trying out all the platforms that I possibly can put together. I'm trying out streaming platforms. I'm trying to see if YouTube is the best space for this to grow. It feels like it to me. It feels like YouTube is the best way to for this to grow. But I'm going to try and integrate other platforms and see how we can best grow this. And look, like I said just now, I love to fail, and I love to fail big. And my big failures in front of the real world gives more value for me, in my eyes at least, to my successes. So that was for me a super successful conversation there with Elaine and Prince. I'm gonna try and get Elaine on here again because she was complaining about not having spoken. So I'm going to give her a quick call and give her her 5 minutes of 5 minutes of fame, okay, so that she can be able to also be on here. Let me actually pick up a call from Prince here, who's also looking to quickly speak while we're still on air here. So I'm gonna put you on speaker so that maybe you can say your goodbyes this way. Let me see if I can also add Elaine on here because you guys didn't quite get your chance to say your goodbyes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, still live on air. So go ahead if you still had thoughts to share, if you still had goodbyes to share as well. You guys can go ahead and close it out that way, and then I will also say my goodbyes here, and we can call this one a good trial and error session. You can go first, Prince.
Okay. Yeah, obviously there was a lot of things to say, and I can see everyone's eyes was on the time. Yeah, I believe your show is beautiful, and there's so much to gain from this show. Mm-hmm. And I think also, as we are talking about growth, mm-hmm. This show is also growing, embracing change, mm-hmm. and also learning from the mistakes, mm-hmm. and trying to improve on those mistakes so that good contents can be delivered. And I think that's what we're going to do.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm very happy for asking me to speak today, and yeah, continue making good programs, and and you've got a good audience, and wish them all the best.
Great stuff. Elaine, you were complaining about not getting to speak, so here's your 15 minutes of fame. You can go ahead and shout. Not literally.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for, although I didn't even speak, I didn't even share my thoughts, but thank you for having me. And as I always say, this show, this Bear Show, Bear People, is how can I say this? There's just an impact on the show and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are.
Yeah. or because I'm be very late.
Yeah. You complain about the time of it so much, but like I always say, 11 p.m. is the new 1995. Okay, but I will try and see if we can adjust the time here. The main challenge with the time for me is jumping on here straight from work. Like literally, the very second that my shift ends is the very second that I start this. But I'm gonna try and see if we can get a gap in between here and hopefully get more people to join in live and share their own opinions.
Yeah, I think you should adjust the time because
Yeah, I'll try and see what we can do about that. Yeah, yeah. All right. Like I said just now, I really did appreciate you guys being on. I'm going to call you guys right after to thank you personally. But for now, let me just close out the show and then we can carry on our own conversation.
Thank you, brother.
No, sure thing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, closing this one out with you guys. This camera does not want to behave. But as I said, I did apologize in advance for hella what do we call them, technical difficulties that were possibly going to arise on this one. But thank you. If you have stuck through it to this point, look, you are a soldier and I appreciate you beyond what you would know. But yeah, this conversation here, I feel like we should have it again, like this growth and camera, you do that one more time. Okay, this idea of growth and change, and I feel like there's so many directions I wanted to take it in that I couldn't, um, because again we were looking at the time and I'm still figuring out how this whole thing should go and all of that. But we'll get it together. We'll get it together. But I'm definitely gonna have this conversation again, and maybe share my own thoughts on it again. Just not staring people and having them share their thoughts the way that they want to best share them. Um, as I just mentioned, we're gonna have a super interesting conversation next week with a guest who is going to, I believe, make a lot of people angry. But it's good because the conversation is gonna be bare and we are gonna take responsibility for our honesty, okay? And we're gonna be super vulnerable, so vulnerable that we allow ourselves to be criticized. In case I'm gonna try and make that one. Oof, unfortunately, that conversation cannot be earlier. But even if you tune into these after the fact, still love it, love it, love it, love it. But next week's conversation, it won't let me finish. It just won't let me finish. You better let me finish, okay? Next week's conversation is just gonna be out of this world. With I'm not gonna reveal who the guest is, but I can tell you, you do not want to miss that conversation. You do not want to miss that conversation. Great stuff. Listen, I appreciate you sticking it out up until this point, and appreciate your time, and I will see you, if not tomorrow. The possibility does exist because this weekend is about to be a super hectic one for me, with friends getting married, celebrating other people's weddings. It's one of those social weekends, and I hope I have the social energy to come back on Monday with great amounts of news and prepare for that conversation. I feel like it's just going to be so much, so much juice in that conversation. But let's take responsibility for our vulnerability and be super honest. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. Appreciate you taking your time once more. Please do have a great weekend, in case I do not get the opportunity to wish you that tomorrow. And yeah, I guess I will see you in